What's going on, everyone? Welcome to my ultimate Shiv guide video. In this video, we're going to be going over all of Shiv's abilities and play styles and how to play him effectively, and most importantly, how to play around his second ability, Slice and Dice. So we will mostly be talking about that. So this whole video and guide is going to mostly revolve around this ability right here. So first we're going to talk about the abilities, what they do, and then we'll get into builds and items, what to buy and things like that. And then we'll get into some gameplay and actual kind of like live, not necessarily live, but just like clips that we'll go over and talk about as well, okay? Alright, for Shiv's abilities, we'll quickly go through it. His first ability is his dagger. He throws a knife, does damage, and then applies a bleed, causing tick damage over time. Pretty simple. His next ability is his Slice and Dice. This is his dash. Looks like this. This ability right here is going to be the bread and butter of this entire guide and playstyle that we're going to talk about today. A lot of things to know about this dash. First thing is that you could actually dash vertically too, as well as horizontally. You may think that if you look up, you could dash upwards, but it still won't. In order to dash upwards, you just have to jump and then press the button, and then you will dash upwards just like this. Pretty good to know. If you do it like this, it will go straight up. Okay, another thing to know about his dash is that you don't actually need to dash through your enemy to actually apply the damage. So if I stand, say, like right here and I dash, it still applied the damage, but I didn't even go through him. I stopped right in front of him. Another thing too is that the dash also applies damage behind you. So if I just turn around and I dash, it does the damage again. Pretty good, huh? Another thing is that you don't actually have to get too close to them. If I dash to the side here, it'll apply the damage. Same thing if I do it again over here. Oops, it was too far out. Just like that, it applies the damage. So pretty lenient ability here. Another thing is that if you were to dash into like a wall, the walls don't necessarily stop you. You will slide along the wall. Just like so. Pretty good to know. You cannot dash in place, so you can't do something like that. You'll still go the full length. So yeah, his next ability and his third one is Bloodletting. This is basically Death Stance from League of Legends, if you guys are familiar with that item. Basically, or should I say a portion of all incoming damage is dealt over time instead. This damage can kill you, however. So this is kind of what it looks like. I'll pull up a picture on the screen right now, and so as you can see, there is what I like to call orange health. This is that ticking damage over time, and then of course you have your white health. If you ever notice that your white health is gone and your health bar is just orange, that means that you are bound to die unless you actually heal or something like that. This ability isn't actually just a passive, it's an active too. So what the active does is that you just clear a portion of that deferred damage and you just heal it back instantly. So essentially, it's really good to use this ability when you have a lot of that orange health. So if you take a lot of burst damage right away, pretty good idea to activate this ability. Then your next one is your ult. It's a point and click leap, and it does damage. So just press it, leap at them, does damage, right? This is basically Darius ult from League of Legends, if you guys know Darius ult. And the reason why it's Darius ult is the final upgrade, because kills with it reset its cooldown. But essentially, you leap towards an enemy hero and you will instantly kill them if their health is below the kill threshold, which is 20% health. Otherwise, you'll just deal flat damage to them. You will know that they will die from your ult if this white diamond right here is glowing red. If it's red, that means that they are ready to be pretty much executed from your ult. And so yeah, another thing to mention about his ult is that for my time playing, I've noticed that whenever I activate it, I will always reach the target and strike them no matter what. So if they like dash around, teleport or something, you will still land and connect to them. I have phased through so many walls and things like that and traveled far distances, but I've always managed to land the killing blow. So pretty lenient on that. It's not buggy or anything like that. You don't have to worry about like it breaking or anything like that. So pretty good. So let's talk about the upgrades of the ability. So your Q, or should I say your first ability, that's just my keybinds. Your knife, just extra charge, longer duration, damage, pretty simple. Your Slice and Dice, it's cooldown, then damage, and then your last one, and this is where the whole build and guide pretty much comes into play, It's every single enemy hero you hit, it reduces the cooldown by 2 seconds, and then 1 second per non-hero. This is massive for this whole build, but it is a max of 6 seconds per dash. I think this was just implemented, so this was pretty much a nerf as of recent, but before this I don't think they used to exist because I don't remember seeing that. And then his next ability, it's pretty much just gonna make you more tanky, plus 5 seconds of deferred damage duration, cooldown, more deferred damage cleared, etc. And then your ultimate is like we said earlier, pretty much the max ult, finishing off an enemy with a killing blow, resets its cooldown, which is pretty much like the whole hero design essentially. And then one thing we have to also notice is that one thing we have to mention is the passive of killing blow, and this pretty much gives you a rage resource bar. So damaging enemies fills up that rage bar, and then once it is full, it gives your other abilities special properties. So let's go over the special properties. So for your knives, they will bounce and ricochet to another enemy and then apply a slow to the enemies that they hit. It also deals the same damage too. Also, the mention too before that these stack, the knives stack. That's super cool. It is not a point and click though. You do have to aim it. All right, and then for your dash, while rage is full, an echo of Shiv chases the dash path after a short delay, damaging enemies again. So if we just get to full rage real quick. So as you can see, you might have seen earlier, if I dash, another little echo of me dashes the same path. It's also extremely useful to know that this also applies the 2 second cooldown per enemy hero hit. So if I turn off cooldown and if I get max rage real quick, you could see, well, if you watch the cooldown, it goes from 12 to 10, and then it goes from 10 to like 8 or 7. So you could see the difference both times, and we'll just do it again so you can see. So it gets reduced twice. So if you're hitting, if you're in max rage and you're hitting multiple enemy heroes, you will reset the cooldown quite a bit, especially if there's a lot of minions involved too. All right, and then your ultimate unlock, while rage is full, the amount of damage deferred is increased, so it just makes you more tanky. That's basically it. All right, and then I forgot to mention one last thing about the dash is that if you actually press the button and then look to the side, you could kind of actually change the direction if you're quick enough. So if I like press it and then look, it will actually send me in that direction. If I'm a little late to it, it'll still curve it a little bit. It's not that it's curving the path, but it's still changing the direction a little bit. If I actually press it in 180, I will actually do the 180 if I'm quick enough. But I am actually pressing the button and then moving. So yeah, don't be afraid to like keep aiming at your opponent when you do it. All right, guys, real quick, the ability order is down here on the left hand side. So if you want to take a look at this, screenshot it, whatever you want to do. It's going to be your slice and dice first, then your ult, then bloodletting, and then your knife. So that is the ability point order. It's just maxing out one after the other. So yeah. All right, now we're gonna be going over the build and what items to buy. This is my build that I made myself. So if you want to look up my Legacy Slice and Dice Shiv build, feel free to do so. Give it a like, that'll be greatly appreciated. So for early game, we're gonna start with Mystic Burst and Enduring Spirit as our first two. Mystic Burst for our dash to make it do more damage, and then Enduring Spirit for our lifesteal. The rest you could kind of buy however you want. They're not necessarily mandatory, but I do like going extra stamina. That would be my recommendation. Since you're always fighting close quarters, it's good to have extra stamina. And then any one of these too if you need them. Mid game, this is not any order, but Soul Shredder bullets for more lifesteal. Spirit lifesteal for straight up lifesteal. Improved cooldown so we can get that dash on a lower cooldown, and then improved burst to make it do even more damage. Mid game optionals, typically I do end up going superior stamina just because I enjoy having a lot of stamina myself. Anything else like the armors, you can go armors to make yourself a little bit more tankier. Heal booster to just grab more healing if you need it. Bullet lifesteal is sometimes if you want to buy more weapon items yourself and go outside of the build and buy some weapon items, you can, and then therefore buy bullet lifesteal, but that's not what this build is about, so I don't typically buy bullet lifesteal ever, but I thought I'd throw it in there just in case. Quicksilver reload, this will imbue one of your abilities to do more spirit damage on the first hit, so not too bad, just making your dash do more damage, and it makes you reload for free. So Mystic vulnerability. This just reduces their spirit resist. So makes you do more damage. Slowing bullets, like I said, if you want to go some more weapon damage, you get a slow with this item. However, when you're at max rage, your knives already apply a slow. So you can already have a slow in your kit, so it's not necessarily a must-have, but just thought I'd throw it in there. And then for the late game, these are all very, very essential and must-haves. The absolute first one you want to buy is Superior Cooldown, and throw that on your Slice and Dice to get it as low as you possibly can. The rest, I would say, are any order. So let's just go over them. Leech is just going to give you more sustain, so just a lot more life still, which is good. Ethereal Shift. Ethereal Shift is actually really, really good, and we'll kind of just go over the reason for that right now. So when you're in a close range fight and you're fighting a lot of enemies dashing around, sometimes you might actually mess up a dash and you might not hit anyone with it at all. And if it goes on a, if the cooldown's not reduced and it becomes like a 6-7 second cooldown, even though it's only 5, 6, 7 seconds, that's still pretty dangerous because your whole playstyle revolves around your dash and you having it up. So if you don't have it up, you could die pretty easily. So if you miss it and you don't reduce the cooldown at all, you could just Ethereal Shift, kind of buying you some time until it comes off a cooldown, and then that way you get it back. So very useful there. Next is Mystic Reverb. This item on base stats is granting you more spirit lifesteal and ability range, so it's going to make your dash go even further without actually buying Mystic Reach. So that's pretty good. And then the ability is that it applies a slow around the target, and then after a few seconds, it procs, dealing a percentage of the damage you just dealt with the ability to enemies around them. So you view it into your dash. This is what it looks like. You just go ahead and dash, slows them down, and then after a few seconds, procs doing AoE damage. So if you're in, close quarters and you hit this on a lot of targets, and they will all be slowed, and then hopefully the AoE damage hits them all again if they're close enough. Boundless Spirit for just way more damage. Can't go wrong with Boundless Spirit. And then Soul Rebirth. Most heroes take Soul Rebirth anyways in the late game, but I think it's just even better on close range targets. Or should I say close range heroes like Shiv, who like to get up and close. So if you're going to be kind of brawling a lot, then having an extra life is just great to have. Also, when you're using Ethereal Shift, you could be in a fight, then you need to pop Ethereal Shift. You're fighting some more, and then they kill you, and then you respawn, and the next thing you know, your Ethereal Shift's actually back off of cooldown. And so it just kind of keeps you alive for a lot longer. And then late game optionals, if you want, you can go Frenzy. If you run out of space, you need more weapon items, go Frenzy. Just gives you spirit resist when you're below 40% health. Colossus is just going to give you more resist when you pop it. Just makes you more tankier. Unstoppable, so you don't get stunned. Metal Skin is really good if there's like a Fed Haze or anything like that. Maybe like a Vindicta or a Grey Talon that's fed. Just pop this, kind of gives you some more time. Become immune to their bullets. Keeps you alive longer. Diviner's Kevlar is really, really good because the base stats grant you even more lifesteal and cooldown reduction, which are the two main things you want to buy in this build. But then on top of that, when you cast your ult, it's going to give you that bullet shield and spirit shield, keeping you alive even longer. As you can tell, everything is about keeping you alive longer, so this is helping that as well. Escalating exposure. This is kind of more for your knives, but if you throw your knives at a target as you're trying to close the gap between them, then it's just going to apply that stacking spirit amp, and then in turn going to make your dash do more damage. And then Curse is more situational, but for example, if there's like a Fed 7 or a Fed Haze on the enemy team, especially a 7, if a 7 pops his ult and it's just doing a lot of damage, you can't really do anything when a 7's popping his ult, unless you kill him, but that's not always going to be the case. And so he kind of just doesn't allow you to get close, which is what you need to do. So if you just go Curse, you could just take him out of his ult. And same thing with the Haze. A Haze ult could really kill you quickly too. So that's why you're going to want to use Curse to just take her out of her ult. That's also why Ethereal Shift is good too, because just in case a Haze is 1v1ing you, and she pops her ult, she will actually kill you. You cannot out-sustain it, and so Ethereal Shift just allows you to completely bypass her ult and then kill her afterwards, which we actually will show you a clip of me doing exactly that. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the build. It's just all about buying Spirit Lifesteal and burst damage and improved cooldown, imbuing everything into your Slice and Dice. So if we come out here, let's just go ahead and buy some of the items real quick. And then we come over here, we spawn some other dummies here. So my cooldown is at 8.33 seconds. And so if I dash, even without rage, the 3 enemies, well, I already pretty much got it back because the rage instantly filled up. But you can see the cooldown. It's pretty much refunded immediately. So you can kind of see the potential here with how quickly you get your dash back once you get your items. Another thing I'll do too is that you want to fight in close areas. So if you can, you know, kind of draw enemies to rooms like this or tight hallways, it makes your dash very easy to hit multiple targets. Alright, so that's it for the builds and items portion of the video. We'll get into gameplay now and talk more about how to actually use your abilities and kind of the play style that you're going to be doing and how to go from there, alright? Okay, so real quick, I kind of wanted to talk to you about like the areas that Shiv kind of struggles with to fight around. And this is going to be this area right here. The pit's pretty fine. Like this side area is pretty good. The shrines are pretty good. Because you kind of like bob and weave out of this, like these little walls right here. But if they're like all right here, this is pretty bad. It's just too wide open. This area right here is also really, really bad. Anything like this is just pretty bad. It's just way too open. Oftentimes, if like there's a lot of enemies right here and I could tell they want to push me, I will actually just come in here. I'll just kind of like third person peek this, and then once a bunch of them come in, you start dashing, and then you'll get it back, and then you dash again, and then you're just constantly like dashing back and forth. So that plays out very nicely. So always trying to be looking. This is why stamina comes in handy, because if you have a lot of stamina, you could, you know, keep dashing around and draw them to areas like this. Area like this, bring them in here, boom. It's literally like your playground, bro. You want to just bring them to tight corners like that. Okay, we'll get into the clips now. A quick tip, if you are at max rage, you can clear a tier 3 camp like this pretty quickly. So, very good to know. Abuse it. Alright, first clip, pretty good example of drawing enemies into a tight area. So we're going to go ahead and bring the dynamo over to this little hallway. And then we get a dash off of him. And then the Ivy and Bebop pull up. So we're going to go ahead and dash behind, line up a double dash, hit both of them. Dashes back, we're gonna wait for them to come up, dash to both of them again, dashes reset, dash again, and the echo of my dash actually kills dynamo there. And then we just keep the dashes going, hit the bebop, and now he's ready to be ulted. We kill him, and unfortunately this Ivy just ends up flying away. It's a pretty good example right here of lining up a good dash in a tight area. So we're dashing around kind of looking for a nice dash, find it right here, and keep in mind that I only have 292 health, but when I dash through all 4 of them, we're pretty much back up to 1900. Pretty insane. Then we get our dash back immediately. Fortunately, the 7-player ults. 7 players will be 7 players, and then I get disarmed and focused, so I do unfortunately die. Next clip, I come back from Soul Rebirth, and instead of fighting in this big open pit, we're gonna draw them out here. Get a couple dashes off, and then I'm gonna go ahead and Ethereal shift this Bebop bomb, so I don't take the damage. Get our dash back, and then we line it up. Hit 2 of them. Hit 2 of them again, and now Bebop is low enough, so we kill him. Unfortunately, that Yamato gets away. Here's a really good example of Ethereal Shift. As I said earlier, it's really hard to 1v1 a Haze when she ults. So she would have killed me here, but I just pop Ethereal Shift, block all that damage, and hit her with the dash ult. She's dead. Very, very, very good. Comes in handy right there. This one, like I said earlier, we're drawing them into this hallway. And so looking for a dash. We get it right there. It's instantly rip back. Dash again. And right here is a good example of how I missed the dash. And if you notice, the cooldown is now 6 seconds. So what we're going to do is Ethereal Shift here instead and buy us some time. Plus, I also dodged the Infernus ult. And so we get our dash back. And we're able to get that dash off. But unfortunately, there's way too many people and I get focused. But still a pretty good example. Alright, so this clip right here just shows how often you could actually reset your dash. So with max rage, we get it back, we dash again, we already get it back, turn around, dash again, turn around, and we dash again. Lady Guys is 1, so we ult her, dash again, and then unfortunately we were just too low, so we do end up dying here.
My god.
But we ended up getting like 6 dashes off. And then right here we got a 1v2. She ults me, but it just doesn't even matter. I just get healed up easily. So we just go in, land another dash, get her low enough, and then we land the ult. And then the Yamato's ulting right here, so we kind of just wait it out and time it. Boom, she's dead. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, so in conclusion, Shiv is a close range hero that likes to get up close and personal. We build our items around our slice and dice dash ability. We mainly focus on positioning ourselves to hit as many targets as we can with our dash, resetting the cooldown as much as we can while doing loads of damage and healing ourselves, getting the enemies low so that way we could then ult them. So yeah, this is my first ever video guide for Deadlock that I've ever made. So if you do enjoy it, please consider leaving a like or a comment letting me know how I did, as I spent quite a few hours making this video, but I had loads of fun. And yeah, guys, so if you enjoyed the video, if you thought it was informative, you liked the way I made the video, please, like I said again, let me know in the comments below. I will make more videos like this if you guys really did enjoy it and thought it was a good video, okay? Also, please consider following me on TikTok. I'll put that in the description, but it's going to be at Marcus Legacy. I do stream on there too, so consider watching sometime and dropping a follow if you want to keep seeing more content like this. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.